Gonna make this garden grow. All I need is rain and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground.
Ba-dum-bum-bum. Hello, North Saanich and anyone beyond who wants to watch. So, we're starting this small, and we're starting this very authentically. My name is Jen Rashley. I'm in my neighbor's backyard, and we're going to be planting potatoes. And the idea is that we are going to just start growing a ton of food back here. I've been teaching gardening classes for many years. I'm an avid gardener. I ran Farmers on 57th in Vancouver. And so basically this is a remote class, and if you want to hop in with your kids or your spouse or just you, then follow along. It's going to be very pragmatic, quick and dirty. We're going to show you the steps, and there are just basically two rules. Number one, nature wants to grow. You don't think you can grow something? Guess again. Nature wants to grow, so just basically follow the rough rules that I give you, and be curious, learn from your mistakes, but you can't go that far wrong. And the second thing is that you got to do this yourself to reap the beautiful health-giving qualities that gardening brings. So watching me vicariously over Facebook is one thing, but it's when you go out and you do it and it feels so good and it motivates you to keep going. So if you want to catch the gardener's bug, get in there and get dirty, and it will never let you down. I swear. It's like I get a big stupid grin on my face every time I head out to the garden, and you will too. Okay, so potatoes. Quick lesson in potato, it's a tuber. This is what you plant in the ground. It makes these little eyes, and this is the beginning of your stem. It will swell up, it will break free up into the sunshine, it will leaf out. As that stem grows up, it makes more tubers along that stem, right? And so if you dig it down deep into a trench and it grows and grows and grows, if you keep covering that stem up so it's in the dark, it will make more potatoes as it grows higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And so you can get, if you plant one, you can get 10 potatoes out of this plant, or you can get 15, the higher up that you grow it. So that's why you see farmers in the field creating these trenches. They make these sort of valleys, and they plant their tuber in the bottom of the valley, and then they cover it over with about a fist's worth of soil, and then as it grows and leaves, they start to mound or hill up around that stem. And as long as you keep the top leaves in the sunshine so that the leaves can keep getting the good sunshine energy, that plant's going to keep growing and growing and growing. So that's the idea. These are fingerlings. They look amazing. Fingerlings are so tasty, like they're the gourmet, lovely, lovely potato. There are 3 varieties here: banana, French, and Russian. You can go pick potatoes up at Buckerfields, or where'd you get yours?
Russell's.
Russell Nursery. They're around. You could even buy organic potatoes from from Thrifties or whatever, but these are the ones that are meant for growing. Okay, what are you growing in? So I would say the first thing is you don't want to lime your potato bed. They do not like lime. They prefer it slightly acidic. This is the time to plant them. So what are we at? March 24th. You can also plant them into April, so don't worry if it's coming to you a little later. And you don't want to have fresh manure in there. It's better to have well composted manure in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just talk you through it right now, and then I'm going to show you in a separate clip. I'm going to dig down. I'm going to create a trench. I'm going to dig like that far down, and then I'm going to take that extra soil out, and I'm going to put it in an extra pot and cover it to one side. Then at the bottom of the trench, I'm going to loosen up the soil, and then I'm going to dig down a little bit, and I'm going to plant my potato with these little beautiful stems poking out. I'm going to plant it, and then I'm going to cover it up with about that much soil, okay? There's still going to be a trench there. And then I'm going to have about a hand span between each spud that I've planted. So you got one, dirt, second one, dirt, third, and I can just line my whole trench like that. Watering. These guys, especially in our North Saanich clay soils, they are prone to maybe want to rot if they haven't got their leaves going yet. So you don't want to be watering them when you first plant them, and you want to try to get for kind of a bit of a warm, drier spell to give them a chance. I'm also going to show you a trick at the end of how you can cover them with a cloche. But anyway, so don't water them right when you plant them. Wait until you see them start to leaf out, and then you can begin watering. And then as the plants get bigger and bigger, then you can actually start watering them a lot more. They want the water because they've got to be developing these tubers, and they want those tubers to swell. And at that point, right about flowering time, when the potatoes flower, yes, they do flower, that's when you want to be giving them a lot of lovely water. And then you can harvest them for new potatoes when the flowers appear. That's when you can dig them out gently with a pitchfork and get your new potatoes. Or you can wait and continue to water them and let them grow, and then you harvest them once the plants start to wither and die back in the fall. And at that point, that's the sign that the plant is putting all of their energy back into the tubers, right? That's why the top growth is dying down, and that means that your tubers are kind of at their peak for size, and you know, that's when you're gonna have a mature, big potato. So that's the kind of like quick and dirty, and then you're gonna see me planting this out. So good luck. If you have any questions, throw me a comment or a question, and then I will answer them, because I'm sure I haven't told you everything, but it's enough to get you going. Happy planting. Go do it. Okay, here we are. We're ready to plant. Before we begin, we're going to talk a little bit about gardening COVID protocol. 6 feet, remember? So, how do you measure that with your kid or whatever, or your neighbor? It's pretty good. Secondly, gloves. As long as you have gloves on, as far as I know, so far, science says that's okay. Okay, I'm gonna yell over the airplane. This is the best tool ever. If you can find this thing, I highly recommend it. It's lovely. I don't even know what it's called, to be perfectly honest, but check out what it does. It's great. It is the best trench maker. It loosens up soil. As you know, land of clay, it's very heavy soil typically in North Saanich, so I'm sure you're going to have the same kind of issue as you start to dig, is it's heavy. So, I'm going to just do a small amount just to show you. And I think I'll stop talking so that we can speed up this part of the video so you don't get bored. Okay, so just to quickly review what's going on here. So just to repeat, this is fairly heavy clay soil, and potatoes run the risk. They want drainage, and that means like pretty good free draining sandier soil. This is quite heavy clay, so you want to be amending it with either a sandier soil or even better, like some aged compost. So you could buy some chicken manure or compost, like potting compost, whatever, right? And you're going to want to mix that in with your heavy clay just to give it a little more drainage. So you've dug down to the point where, like here in North Saanich, we don't have great topsoil, so you want to dig down to, like, while you still have pretty nice topsoil, but when you're starting to see that it's getting into some sort of more subsoil region, that's when you want to stop digging. And then you want to loosen at the bottom of your trench, loosen it up, and that's going to help with drainage. And then I'm going to just disappear out of view for a second and get a shovel full of sort of sandier soil. Oh, you got it. Throw it in, and let's do a little more. So that's enough for now. So you see how that's like, can you see the difference here? It's really, really cool. People try and make this so complicated. It's so not. Look at that. It's holding its own shape. You can tell it's heavy. It's got moisture, it's got clay. This hangs onto nutrients. There's so many nutrients in here. It is what gives the terroir of North Saanich. It's packed full of minerals and nutrients. That's the joy of the clay. This is sandier, it's crumbly. You cannot form a ball that holds together. Why you want that? It's good drainage. The water, it doesn't hold the water, it doesn't like drown the roots essentially, but it also doesn't hold on to nutrients as well. So that's why you kind of want to have the best of these both worlds, and the way you do that is by adding generous amounts of organic matter. And that's really the basis of organic gardening, and that's why you just keep adding leaf mulch in, straw, you know, chicken manure, cow manure. I won't totally recommend horse manure, but and the more you do that over the years, you're going to just improve your soils. Okay, so here's your beautiful spud. It's got little eyes on it. It's ready to go. And I've made my trench, and then I just dig down and I put it in with the eyes up. And then I'm going to keep going down the road. I'm going to do a span of my hand like that. And that's where I want my next one. I'm going to dig down. That's just a little wee one. And notice I'm not totally covering them up yet because, oh my gosh, it's amazing how quickly you forget what you've done. So do your whole row before you totally cover them, and then come back. And then you cover them over. And you just use your trench material. I'm going to use more of that sandy stuff, so that you've covered it with about a fist's worth. You don't want to dig it in too deep because it's going to use up all its energy trying to get up to that sunlight. Give it about that much soil depth to work through. And then once you see those leaves poking up, you can start to water. And then once that gets a little higher and starts to really grow, then you can start to hill up around those roots, always keeping that green on the top. And that, thank you, that is how you plant potatoes. And that, yeah, you plant one, you're gonna get about 10 or 15 back. So that's the story. Okay, so we have our 3 trenches dug, 3 varieties of potato. I'm going to show you one final trick that makes such an unbelievable difference to productivity, and it's just cloching or providing some sort of protection over what you've planted. So you can get this as legs. You can get them to cut them into lengths like this. You put them in the ground, hammer them in. You take a bit of, this is called PVC? What's it called? Whatever this is.
PVC.
PVC. It's 3/4 inch PVC. We pre-did the one over there. And then this. Okay, and now you've created this lovely, strong sort of spine for your little pup tent that you're gonna put together. And then you're gonna bring this over. So this has a few functions. Let me just, yeah. Good. So function 1, it keeps the rain off the potatoes, because you don't want to have this whole thing. If it rained for the next week solid, it's not going to get super saturated inside the tent. That's the first thing. Second one, it protects against frost in case you get frost. Third, it starts to warm the soil. And that's so important. Warming the soil is the key to getting a head start boost on early spring planting, which is what we are doing right now. So you put that down, and then you want to weigh it down. And these are actually too light for this purpose. You want bricks or stones, but the idea is you've got your spine, and then you've got a nice sort of taut side, and then it goes down and it's secured there, and so that the rain will go off and will not pool. You want to check on it just to make sure. So you go all around the whole perimeter, and you just weigh them down in each corner at the ends and all the way along. Ta-da! That is how you do that. And then the last thing I want to say is make sure you label what you've planted. You think you'll remember it, you will forget. So what we've done is cedar. We've used pencil because Sharpies break down in the UV. And then it says French. And then, whoop, ta-da! There you go. Now go do it yourself. Have fun.